I'm Janelle Melohn, Director of the Crime Victim Assistance Division here in the Iowa Attorney General's Office. Our division runs 8 programs, statewide programs for victims of crime. Several of them are pertain to victim notification. So victims can register to receive notification about the status of a protective order or the custody status of any offender incarcerated in Iowa's jails and prisons. This division also, I should back up. We have 30 staff here in our division, 30 FTEs that are responsible for administering these 8 statewide programs. Another of the programs that we run is our Iowa Identity Theft Passport program. So victims of identity theft can submit an application through law enforcement to be issued a passport that essentially validates that they were a victim of identity theft. We also administer the 2 largest programs that we have, our crime victim compensation, which victims can apply either online, in person, or also over the phone to any one of our staff here in our division. And they can apply for any out-of-pocket expenses that they've incurred due to being victims of crime. So things like medical expenses, mental health costs, transportation, funeral benefits in the case of a homicide, things of that nature are costs that could be reimbursed through our program. And then the largest of our programs is the grant program. We administer 4 federal and 2 state funding streams. And it totals about $30 million, or just over $30 million, that we grant out or sub-grant out to programs all over the state that are providing direct services to victims of crime. So those dollars primarily support positions or advocates around the state that are providing those direct services. But those funds also support administrative costs, expenses, housing costs, things of that nature. Anything really that advocates would need to do their job under our Housing First and mobile advocacy model.
One final question, Janelle. What would you say to new advocates and the importance of their role in the work that is done through the AG's office?
I would tell you that advocates play an essential role in serving crime victims around the state of Iowa. Without them, victims don't know their rights. They don't know how to access systems. Potentially, they may not know how to access different systems, navigate different networks that they wouldn't have otherwise known existed. What we find is that a lot of individuals don't know about victim services and what there is to offer until they've experienced crime or they've experienced kind of an awful situation that's occurred. And at that point, sometimes it's beyond when they're able to actually take that in. And without having advocates available to be able to help them navigate these systems and get their needs met, we end up with people that aren't reached, and obviously a culmination of trauma and other issues that can present themselves because they weren't provided that help when they should have been. And the reality is that they should be provided those things. They're guaranteed those rights under Iowa law. So advocates serve an essential purpose in making sure that those get met, which is why the Attorney General's office commits the staffing and the dollars, the budget dollars, to make sure that this happens. Of all of the dollars that we administer, about 80% of them go towards supporting people, positions out in the field. So again, we renew our commitment to making sure that there's advocates available in all areas of our state.
Thank you so much.
You bet.